Podium Publishing presents A New Culture of Learning, Cultivating the Imagination for a World of Constant Change. Written by Douglas Thomas and John Seely Brown. Read by Stephen Bowlby. We dedicate this book to the parents of children who are growing up in the digital age. We hope our contribution will illuminate the strange and wondrous learning styles of the next generation. Chapter 1. Arc of Life Learning. When people think about learning, they usually think about schools. And when people think about schools, they usually think about teachers. In this book, we take a different approach. In our view, the kind of learning that will define the 21st century is not taking place in a classroom, at least not in today's classroom. Rather, it's happening all around us, everywhere, and it is powerful. We call this phenomenon the new culture of learning, and it's grounded in a very simple question. What happens to learning when we move from the stable infrastructure of the 20th century to the fluid infrastructure of the 21st century, where technology is constantly creating and responding to change? The answer is surprisingly simple. Ironically, the relentless pace of change that is responsible for our disequilibrium is also our greatest hope. A growing digital networked infrastructure is amplifying our ability to access and use nearly unlimited resources and incredible instruments while connecting with one another at the same time. However, the type of learning that's going on as a result looks so different from the kinds of learning described by most educational theorists that it is essentially invisible. This new type of learning is a cultural phenomenon that underlies a large number of people's experiences and affects them in myriad ways. It takes place without books, without teachers, and without classrooms, and it requires environments that are bounded yet provide complete freedom of action within those boundaries. This familiar dynamic, in fact, structures all our contemporary notions of play, games, and imagination. Play can be defined as the tension between the rules of the game and the freedom to act within those rules. But when play happens within a medium for learning, much like a culture in a petri dish, it creates a context in which information, ideas, and passions grow. Potent tools for this type of learning already exist in the world around us and have become part of our daily lives. Think of Wikipedia, Facebook, YouTube, and online games, to name just a few. The new culture of learning allows us to recognize, harness, and institutionalize these ideas. It also requires a shift in our thinking about education. Although much of the new learning takes place outside traditional educational forums, we do not argue that classrooms are obsolete or that teaching no longer matters. Our goal is quite the opposite. We believe that this new culture of learning can augment learning in nearly every facet of education and every stage of life. It is a core part of what we think of as arc of life learning, which comprises the activities in our daily lives that keep us learning, growing, and exploring. Play, questioning, and, perhaps most important, imagination lie at the very heart of arc of life learning. Children, for instance, embrace play as a central part of how they experience the world, and they learn that questioning the world is one of the key ways they can understand it. Think of how a child's imagination blossoms when she discovers the why game, for instance. No matter what answer an adult provides, it can always be met with the question, why? And the game can continue. For a child, the potential for fun is limitless. The principles of questioning and play can serve to define arc of life learning, and they have a tremendous effect on and resonance with learning today. So what frameworks do we need to make sense of learning in our world of constant change? The new culture of learning actually comprises two elements. The first.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?